I never thought I'd become one of those women you read about, the kind that forgets the sound of her own voice. But I did. It started slow, as it always does. We met in college. He was charming, confident, the kind of man who made everyone else disappear when he walked into a room. And I, I was quiet, observant. I liked books more than parties, silence more than noise. He said that's what he loved most about me. "You're not like the others," he'd say, smiling. The first time he corrected me, we were having dinner at a friend's place. I said something about wanting to apply for a job after graduation. He gently put his hand on my knee under the table and whispered, "Don't say things like that, baby. It makes you sound desperate." I laughed. I thought he was just being protective. Later that night, he said, "You don't need to chase jobs. I'll take care of you. Just trust me." I smiled. I wanted to believe him. Time passed. We moved in together. At first, it felt like a dream, but the corrections never stopped. They just got quieter, sharper, meaner. Why would you say that? Do you have any idea how you sound when you talk like that? Just stop. Let me speak for you. And so I stopped speaking to his friends, to mine, even to my mother. He started answering my texts, screening my calls, correcting my emails. At one point, he changed my voicemail to say, "This is Daniel and Sarah's phone. Leave a message." My name wasn't even mine anymore. It was his. I remember one night we were at a restaurant and I said something simple to the waitress. She laughed, just a small laugh, like a human laugh. And he looked at me like I'd just humiliated him. He didn't speak to me for 3 days. I cried on the second night. He told me I was being dramatic, that no one liked a woman who talked too much about feelings. That's the thing about emotional abuse. It doesn't leave bruises. It leaves questions. Am I too sensitive? Maybe I really am hard to love. Maybe he's right. Maybe if I just try harder. So I tried. I wore what he wanted, spoke only when he asked me to, smiled when he looked at me, laughed only when he did, and eventually, I forgot how my own laugh sounded. My journal became my only friend. He didn't know about it. Or maybe he did, and he let me keep it. A little cage of thoughts I thought were mine. I used to write things like, "Today he told me my voice is too sharp. Maybe I should speak softer." Or, "I wanted to say something today, but he gave me that look, so I stayed quiet." By our third year together, I had stopped making eye contact with strangers. I walked smaller, quieter. I became a shadow. And he liked that until the day something shifted. It wasn't big, not at first, but a storm always starts with a single drop of rain. And that drop was a voicemail. The voicemail was from my sister. We hadn't spoken in almost a year, not because she didn't try, but because I stopped picking up. Because Daniel said she was toxic, that she didn't respect our relationship, that she was trying to turn me against him. But that day, I saw the notification. A simple, trembling voice saying, "Sarah, if you're still there, I just want you to know that you don't sound like yourself anymore. I love you. Please call me." I listened to it 3 times. The first time I cried. The second, I got angry. The third, I didn't feel anything at all. I'd become so used to being told how to feel that I forgot how emotions were supposed to move through me. That night, I didn't tell Daniel about the voicemail. But he knew something was different. He always knew. He watched me the way hunters watch prey, not with love, but with precision. "You're quiet tonight," he said. "Did someone get in your head again?" And I smiled, because that's what I had been trained to do. The next week, I started noticing things, little things. The way he always answered before I finished a sentence. The way he told the same stories about me to his friends, always painting me as fragile, shy, emotional. The way he called me his girl, never just Sarah. One night, I saw a book on gaslighting in a cafe window. It was bright red. The word screamed at me. I didn't buy it, but I Googled the term in secret later that night. Gaslighting. A form of psychological abuse where the abuser causes the victim to doubt their own perception, memory, or sanity. I remember closing the laptop, staring into the dark, and whispering, "Is that what's happening to me?" I didn't have the courage to answer. Not yet. But things kept cracking. I started dreaming of my childhood home, of my mother brushing my hair, of long, slow mornings in sunlight where no one measured my words. And then I'd wake up next to Daniel and feel the air turn cold again. One evening, I said something small. I mentioned wanting to maybe work part-time. Just an idea. And he froze. He stared at me for what felt like an eternity. "You ungrateful little thing. You think you can just undo everything I've given you?" He raised his voice. Not loud, just sharp, precise, surgical. I didn't respond. Not with words. But inside me, a door creaked open. The journal entries changed. I don't feel like myself. I want to speak again. What if I just left? But leaving wasn't easy. Every dress I owned, he picked. Every photo of us was filtered through his gaze. Even the apartment lease was in his name. I didn't have a job. I didn't have savings. I barely had a voice. But I had a sister. And one day, I called her back. The moment she answered, I broke. All the silence I'd swallowed spilled out like a flood. She didn't interrupt. She didn't judge. She just listened. "You're not crazy," she whispered. "You're waking up." The day I called my sister was the day the fog began to lift. Not completely, but enough for light to begin pushing through the cracks. She helped me build a plan. She even said I could stay with her just for a while. "You don't have to do it all at once," she said. "You just have to take one step." So I did. One morning, while Daniel was in the shower, I packed a small bag. Just clothes, my journal, my ID, and my phone. The one he didn't know I had bought with cash 2 months earlier. I left it all behind. The furniture, the photos, even the ring he said meant everything. I didn't leave a note. Just silence. The same silence he once taught me to obey. But this time, it was mine. I stayed with my sister for 3 weeks. She made me tea, she listened, and she never once asked me to get over it. I started therapy. I learned words like emotional captivity, manipulation, gaslighting, and perhaps the most important one, survivor. Because that's what I was now, a survivor. But the real moment, the one that changed everything, was when he called. I should have blocked his number. I know. But I hadn't. Maybe part of me needed to hear it. "Where the hell are you? You embarrassed me. Come home now and we can pretend this never happened." And then, for the first time, I didn't cry. I didn't apologize. I didn't tremble. I just spoke. "You don't get to control what I say anymore. I'm not yours. And I never was." Silence. Real silence. He hung up, and I exhaled for what felt like the first time in years. Healing didn't happen overnight. Some days I still felt his voice inside my head, correcting me, shaming me, telling me to be quiet. But now, I had another voice too. Mine. I started speaking again. To friends, to family, to strangers. I told my story, quietly at first, then louder, then in rooms filled with the women who nodded as I spoke. And one day a girl came up to me after I shared. She said, "I didn't know it was abuse until I heard you." And I realized, that's why I'm telling this. That's why you're hearing this now. Because if you're sitting in silence, if someone is trying to shrink you, erase you, rewrite your story, I need you to know, you are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining things. You are a voice, a storm, a truth too powerful to be caged. He controlled every word I said until the day I finally spoke back. And that voice, the one you're hearing now, is mine. If this story touched something in you, if you've ever felt silenced, shrinking to fit someone else's world, you're not alone. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready, speak back too, because your voice matters. It always did.